Most people do not want to die. I don't. Right now, I want to go on as long as possible. But things can happen, where due to accidents or degradation of the body, life is no longer worth living anymore. It is a sad choice to face, but it happens. Many, in fact I would say most people, do want to do whatever they can to prolong their life. But people need to be sure that this is what they want, and make sure that those around them know this is what they want as well. I don't want that. If my life ever gets to the point where it would be impossible to get better, if I was in constant physical pain or causing emotional pain to my loved ones, I want to be sure that my life can be ended, and hopefully as painlessly as possible. The Canadian Supreme Court last week passed down a hallmark decision, striking down a ban on assisted suicide. Honestly, this was good news and very much overdue. The courts have given Parliament a year to make up a legislative response. Obviously, safeguards need to be put into the system, but in the end, giving people the power to decide when to end their own lives is a step in the right direction. Doctors have an almost unanimous agreement in having their own personal do not resuscitate orders. 88.3% of doctors, if stuck in a condition where they could not recover, do not want to be kept alive. It is almost the reverse for the rest of society, where the majority of people would choose to stay alive no matter what. Those in the healthcare environment are the people who know what it is like for the patient and the patient's families to deal with a non-recoverable issue. They themselves understand that it is sometimes better to die than go on living. Does this mean that doctors should just look over a patient's chart, think, nope, things aren't good enough, give them a cyanide capsule, walk away and forget about it? No. We need to be sure that the doctor is not making decisions without the patient's input, and that the patient, or a state where they will not be able to make such a decision, their next of kin, is understanding of the decisions they are going to make. Last year, due to complications during surgery, my daughter was put into a brain-dead coma, technically a persistent vegetative state, until she finally succumbed to her injuries and passed away. Every day when I was visiting her, the same thoughts came into my mind. Either some part of her is still trapped in there, can't move, can't respond, and can't let us know what she's thinking. In other words, trapped. Or she's completely gone, no part of her personality is left, and all that is there is a body being kept alive by machinery. She's either trapped in what I know for her would be torture. She was such an active girl, just sitting around was difficult for her, or she was just gone. As hard as it is that she is gone, her death was a release for her. I know that I would never want to be in that situation, and I know that I do not want to put the rest of my family through it either. If it ever happens that I am in a situation like that, my family knows that they have my blessing to say goodbye and let me go. Everybody should have the choice to end their lives with dignity. Sometimes that is not possible on their own. Either they do not have the physical ability to go through with it, or the mental awareness anymore, and assistance is needed. Doctors swear an oath to do no harm, but sometimes letting a patient go, or even hastening that process, means that they are preventing more harm than they are causing. If a doctor has the ability to end in a patient's suffering, and that is what the patient wants, doctors should be able to assist with that. Additionally, a doctor-assisted suicide would be preferable, since it would reduce the possibility of a botched job that would prolong or even increase the suffering of the patient. Sometimes family members need to make the decision for those who can't decide on their own anymore. Family usually knows each other better than others, and usually know what their loved one would want. But making the call would be so much easier if it is discussed ahead of time. We do not know when accidents will befall us, so the sooner you discuss this with your family, the better. I am not saying whether you should choose to go on living or not, but what I am asking to everybody watching this is to decide what you want now, and let your loved ones know of your decision so they can support it and let others know of your wishes when you are not able to. You can always let them know of changes if you alter your mind. If you want to be kept alive through any and all means, if your family knows about it, it will be easier for them to take, and to ensure the medical establishment follows your wishes. Conversely, if you do not want to have your death prolonged, and they know it is your decision, it will make passing that information along and saying goodbye to you easier to take. If there is any takeaway from this at all, I hope it is that you should decide what you want, either way, and make sure those wishes are carried out. Whether you agree or disagree with the points I have made, make sure the important people in your life know what you want so those wishes can be followed.